Hello again, my dudes. Welcome back to the channel. This is Kadima bringing you another Elden Ring DLC build video. This time we revisit the Claws of Night, which we used in a previous build, but we didn't really make much use of it. We were more focused on the Sword of Night. So this time we're gonna go Claws of Night, period. That's it. No other weapons, just this beast of claws, and we're just gonna destroy everything with this absolutely amazing weapon. So, equipment. Claws of Night, of course. This has a dexterity scaling of B, attribute requirement, strength 8, dexterity 20. Passive effect causes blood loss buildup of 45, which is not a lot, but it actually is. Because the scatter shot throw, which is the skill of this weapon, which just throws this absolute rain of scattered shots that cause a tremendous amount of bleed. Each one of those throws will cause 45 bleed. So if you eat with 2, 3, or 4, you'll want to make your opponents bleed, and that's what we're going for. Another thing to take notice is that the claws have both scaling damage with physical and magic, and the only attribute that is going to boost that damage up is dexterity. So when you go 80 on dexterity for the stats, this thing gets an attack rate of 760, which is quite nice. Also, another thing to keep in mind is that this causes bleed, which is amazing, and has quick succession attacks, which is also very amazing for the idea we are going for this build. For the rest of the equipment, white mask. Obviously, every time bleeding happens in the vicinity, we get increased attack power. Same for the Lords of Blood Exaltation, does exactly the same thing. Boosted damage when bleeding happens nearby. For the rest of the armor, the Rakshasa set, the legs, hands, and chest plate. Each piece increases our damage done by 2%, so this gives us an extra 6% damage done. We will also take increased damage, but we don't really care about that, because we're gonna kill things so quickly, we don't really care about the damage that we take. For the talismans, we're gonna do Magic Scorpion Charm, because as you saw, this weapon has physical and magic damage, so we'll get a little bit more damage on the weapons themselves. The Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, which greatly raises attack power with successive attacks. You could consider replacing the Magic Scorpion Charm, for example, with the Prosthesis. If you want, boosts dexterity, raises attack power with successive attacks. But because this also boosts the damage when you use the Scatter Shot ability, I rather go with this one, so my Scatter Shot does increase damage. And if the bleeding procs with both our equipment slots that causes the damage to increase when bleeding happens, you will actually see that the Scatter Shot can do upwards of 1500 damage, and I'm going to give you an example when that actually happened. Shard of Alexander is our last talisman. It greatly boosts the attack power of skills. The Scatter Shot is going to do increased damage. For the arena, I recommend you take Exalted Flesh. It temporarily boosts physical attack power. Because the claws do both physical and magical, this comes in handy. If you're gonna do invasions, I recommend having your Flask with Magic Shrouding Cracked Tear and the Thorny Cracked Tear. Also for PvE, this is very useful because you're just gonna destroy everything with a couple of Scatter Shot throws and then just spam R1, and you will see that your enemies' health just disappears in front of your eyes. All it takes is 2 or 3 hits on the R1 button and they're just dead. And that's it, guys. This is pretty much the build in a nutshell. Let's just take a look at the stats. Level 151, Vigor at 55, Mind at 21, just so you have enough FPs available to permanently spam that Scatter Shot. It's something that you want to have. You want to make sure you have enough FPs going. Endurance at 35, Strength at 14, Dexterity at 80, Intelligence, Faith, and Arcane are untouched for this build. And this is it, guys. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It helps us reach a wider audience, and it helps me grow, and it inspires me to continue to do this, of course. If you are returning to the channel, thank you so much for your continuous support. But enough talking, let's showcase the typical examples of PvE and PvP with this thing. As per usual, we start with the Black Knight, we use the Exalted Flesh, we do a little bit of Old Spice to get us a little bit of protection, and we are going to crack that flask shortly, and then we're just gonna go offensive. I want you to take notice of one thing. I'm not even worried about taking damage or not. To this point, I don't even care. I just want to do as much damage as possible in the shortest amount of time possible. And I want you to notice that even the Scattered Shot ability does a tremendous amount of damage, either used by me or by the Mimic. Now, for the Blood Chief guy, of course we're gonna summon the Mimic. Unfortunately, I didn't kill the guys outside the fog. I need to start doing that more often because they just annoy the Mimic, and then the Mimic takes way too long to join the fight. But as you can see, there's the Mimic next to the fog, and he's just worried about the dudes on the other side. He's not the most intelligent guy out here. Look, he's just running against the fog. Mimic, you are a pain in the bum. Now, let's talk about what you are about to see. I haven't even touched him. It's all the Mimic so far. But here we are. Let's see what happens. A little bit of Scattered Shot. 2k per hit, it's not too shabby. And then I get hit a little bit, but there's no problem. We're just doing simple R1 and it's just game over. But it's in the arena that this thing shines the brightest. I want you to take notice that all of my fights are quite quickly. Even the ones that take longer are still quite quick. And as you saw at the very beginning of the video, this very tiny introduction I've made, is just me two-shotting people with a simple R1 combo. This thing just shreds HP every time the bleed procs. And look at this guy. A simple R1, 750 damage. And that was just not even having to think much about it. Another R1, 800, and then the Scattered Shot mid-here, 200, and then I finish with another Scattered Shot. Now this guy, I consume the Exalted Flesh, he doesn't like it, he's going to attack me straight away. That's fine, my turn. Scattered Shot 164, Scattered Shot. Keep in mind that the Scattered Shot will also proc the Insignia and the Bleed, so there you go, GG. All you need to do is get close enough. Now, Moonlight Knight, he actually attacked me straight away the fight before this, so well done for not doing it again the next fight. Scattered Shot 410, because he was at such close range, a lot of those projectiles hit. And the more hits, the more damage, the more damage, the more bleed, the more bleed, the more boost with the Insignia. That's how the build works. The idea is to get the biggest amount of damage boosts possible when using the claws. He jumps towards me, I do an R1 and I finish the fight. Now this guy, this was actually the second round. The first round was a little bit longer because I had to chase him around. This time there was no need. Single R1, a Scattered Shot, another R1, and another R1. Job done. GG, brother. Now, this is actually going to be slightly longer than the previous ones. He's got some nice armor, he's got a nice katana. I can't just mess around because I have no poise either, so if I get hit, I get hit. But that little Scattered Shot does a nice amount of damage. Of course, it procs the Insignia. As you can see, I already got the buff going on with the Insignia with one single Scattered Shot. And that's what I love about this build, is how everything comes together to give us the highest amount of damage possible. That simple R1 did 1000 damage. It's just crazy. How two simple R1s do 1000 damage using fist weapons, because the claws are fist weapons. This is just crazy. Now, another good fight. Actually, I signal that I'm ready with my jumps every time. Scattered Shot, 350 damage, not so bad. He's also using a weapon with bleed, so ultimately speaking, he actually helps me if he gets the bleed, because it will proc my damage as well. But here we are, just spacing each other, and then Scattered Shot to trap him to roll into me, and a single combo of R1s does 1100 damage. It's just crazy. I signal that I'm ready. I didn't even realize how quickly I killed this guy until I watched the footage. He does a running R1. I go with a roll punishing. I scattered shot twice, and the second one procs the bleed for 677 damage. And he just committed seppuku because he knew his fate was sealed. GG, brother. Now, this guy is gonna come with a little spear, which is fine. You don't see that spear often. A single R1 does 600 damage, followed by a scattered shot for a total of 1100 damage. Of course, he changes to the claws. Somehow people believe that the claws on their own are OP. No, they're not. It's the build that makes them OP. You having the claws is not gonna make you OP, brother. You have to build around it. But take a look at how quickly this fight is gonna go. He's got the meteoric ore. Of course, I was expecting that. Scattered shot. Trigger the R1s right in the face. 1000 damage. He does the Ash of War, and I reply with a scattered shot for the kill with a bleed proc. Now he's coming with a Peta. Oh, I love a good Peta build, especially with endurance. But that's not gonna save you, my friend, because your endurance is already gone. Take a look that you are no longer shiny, and if because you're not shiny, I'm gonna attack spam R1s in your face, and I'm going to win. I do more damage than you, brother. GG. Now another quick one. I signal that I'm ready. This guy is using the cringiest build I have ever seen, which is the giganormous shield with the great sword, so they can do the upwards attack. There we go. Oh, I've never seen that before, my friend. Everybody used to do that back in the day. You need to get the DLC, brother. I'm gonna just scattered shot so I can trigger the bleed. I could finish him off there and then, but I decided to just mess around a little bit and then finish him off. GG, mate. Now for the next one, I signal that I'm ready. He tries to get me some rot going on, which is fine. I got no problem against heavy pots. Scattered shot. It triggered the bleed, but it didn't really do any damage. Then I go for the roll catching. I failed, but only got him in the slightest on the side. I go again for the roll catching. He managed to roll catch me. Scattered shot again. Scattered shot. 270 damage. Not too bad. I gotta be careful because he's got a great sword and he can stun lock me. And then I go scattered shot that triggers the bleed, and it's a GG. Now this guy, I signal that I'm ready. He buffs himself. I give him time, of course. I always give my opponents time. But then he just goes with a spam. Okay, he actually manages to hit me, which kinda upset me. He missed the distance of that one. I go scattered shot to try to proc the bleed. Didn't proc. It does proc there. Finish the job with the R1. Kill. GG. Again, an easy fight. He just bluffed that he was going to give me a pot to the face. Roll catch, punish, 1100 damage with 2 R1 hits. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Then I'm just outspacing him. Roll catch again. Scattered shot, job finished. GG. Now, again, Exalted Flash. I thought this guy was actually trolling at the start of the fight because he started crouching straight away, and I wasn't sure, is he like doing it on purpose or is he just messing around? I wasn't too sure. In any case, I'm gonna go full house now, try to get the damage done, and doom, 1500 damage with a scattered shot at close range. Jesus. Now this guy is gonna bring the sleep Theolier's needle thing as expected. There you go, there it is. But I am not asleep, brother. That's not gonna kill me unless I'm asleep. Of course I had to punish him off. Scattered shot, R1s, job finished. GG. Now this guy brings the meteoric sword and he's throwing some harpoons as well, not a problem. I'm just gonna outspace him. Oh, I managed to dodge. Another scattered shot. R1s. He actually manages to hit me there, but then I'm gonna finish him off with a scattered shot, procking the bleed right at close range for the R1 attack to do the job. Next fight, fighting the guy with the circlets. I gotta be honest about this weapon. It is a good weapon, but I cannot like it. I tried to like it, but I find it very odd. The range of the weapon, the hitbox is just not great. I didn't like it, and that's why I haven't made a build with it so far. I'll give it another try at some point, but I gotta be honest, it's my least favorite weapon from the DLC. Anyway, good job, nice duel, good fight. Now this guy attacks me straight away when I'm buffing. That's fine, you wanna do that, you'll get what's coming. Scattered shot mid-air 234, he spams the lovely R1s, running R1s, of course, he's got a great katana. Scattered shot, no, 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 my turn. Oh, no. Sorry, scattered shot, procs the bleed, 1000 damage, goodbye. Don't attack me while I buff. Here we go, exalted flash, signal that I'm ready. This is gonna be a quick one. He's using katana as well, and I thought this looks like Millennius katana, and it was. Water dance, nope, scattered shot. Here we go, scattered shot. Then we're gonna trick him into coming close, so we can just punish with the R1 for the roll catch. This is gonna be the last fight, guys. I'll let you watch it. Enough of my rambling. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. It does help the channel, and I appreciate all of your support. Thank you all so much for watching. Of course, I hope I'll see you in the next build video. Have a good time. Cheerio!